All right. Well, my name is Shahid Muhammad, also known as the Math Doctor. I am making a mission of mine since the last couple of decades to raise the level of math literacy and competency of our people in particular, here in America in particular, Black people, but really Black people all over the planet. But here in America, because we are unfortunately at the bottom in terms of mathematics performance, competency, literacy on a majority. So that's what I'm here for.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, this is like a decade or two interview in the making, and I might have had the math doctor, Shahid Muhammad, on like a previous show. I'd have to go back into the way archives because I saw this brother when he was teaching in Grambling, just in passing. But I had already passed all my math requirements. But I heard that he had the same type of style that Dr. Taylor had. When my wife and I finished Grambling, not at the same time, I bought my kids before my firstborn was born, all of his stuff. And now my two kids, they know the math doctor. I tell you, they kind of cringe and say, Daddy, do we have to watch more of this? You surely do, because I can't teach you this. The math doctor can go into the higher heights of math. I thank God for a good wife who is a mathematician. But Shahid Muhammad, his DVDs, yeah, I say DVDs, y'all. He might have them somewhere else. We're going to get into it. But I can't tell you how thankful I am for a professor like him. Even though I didn't get to take his class, I heard others who were blessed. Somebody who breaks it down easily and makes it culturally and relevant to our audience. He'll throw in some lyrics on you real quick. So, Math Doctor, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much, my brother, for the invitation, for your powerful, beautiful program. Definitely appreciate being on and being a guest.
And so in clarity, just so people know, because majority of my people are listeners, but for those of you who are watching saying, well, why is he in the shadow? Because when you do so many numbers, sometimes you don't need people bothering you, asking you for some money, asking you, down the street. So it's just part of it's actually kind of just a fluke, and, technology glitches on us. But I think it's a great look, and it gives that mystique. So I just want to make that clear. He's not hiding at all, but I will mess with you. And you guys can go, links in the description, themathdoctor.org, and see, some of his products. But tell me, brother, how did you decide to say, I'm going to create this and put this on DVD? And, are you going to do a new set? Because sometimes my kids are young, so they're like, Daddy, this kind of looks old now. I said, this will save your life. But let's see if we get the Math Doctor to do a whole new series with this new 4K, technology that we have.
Yes, my brother. So what right now the DVDs have matured into direct downloads. Like, so since all the streaming stuff is happening now, so when people go to my website, they don't have to buy and click to get a physical copy DVD, because a lot of people, as you said, don't even have DVD players anymore. So now it comes direct download to their email. The plan in the future is to change me into an emoji, into an animated character, so that we have the animation, but we still have the same teaching style and same teaching content. I also have a YouTube channel where I started a show called Get Your Math On. And so your audience can subscribe to that YouTube channel. There's a plethora of different videos, but in particular, that show, Get Your Math On, is good for adults, good for children, because we start off with a real world problem and show why math has to be mastered and why math is universal. And in everything that we do and in everything that we want to do, mathematics is involved, and it's a universal science that touches every aspect of life. So that's where we're going, where we are now. And that goal is to get that animation done next.
Now you are in the nation, connected with the nation. I know that the nation had, whether it was advertising or if they put it on the site, I've seen it on the site back in the day. There's so much talent inside of the nation. Have you found that animator yet that technologist who can make you the animated character that you want to be?
No. So if anybody in your listening audience has that ability to just take the content and just make me animated, then hey, please, I have my information to down at the bottom or whatever at the end when you allow me to, then they can contact me.
Oh, you can do it all day, and I'm gonna put everything down there because math is so needed. Like I struggled with math till I got to college, until I got the right teaching, and I had a landlord who taught math, and he retired in 1984. Because I'm sure he's passed, I'll leave his name out because for the next thing I'm gonna say, but he had told me that the way Mr. Taylor teaches it, he's like, that way is too easy. And that maybe you need to go to Brown Hall. That was the remedial hall, y'all, if you need to learn that way. And I'm like, Mr. Taylor ain't in Brown Hall, and he's teaching right here. And he has people, sometimes sitting on the floor just to try to get the game. Where is the disconnect of that old school teaching? You have to struggle with math versus what you and I saw Mr. Taylor doing, breaking it down to make it make sense for, students like myself who later on found out we were dyslexic, but that was after the master's and everything. And people laugh at that. How you get a master's and you're dyslexic? Well, I could tell you, but you're gonna hire me to tell you my business like that.
Right.
You're gonna hire me and I'll tell you, book a session, as they say. So can you talk about that disconnect and when you said, I got to do something different because our people aren't getting it the old school way?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a dumbing down that's been going on for years, in particular for our people and for people of color, period. But for Black people in particular, a dumbing down of the mathematics to confuse the students, confuse the parents, all these new ways of teaching that confuse the parents, confuse the students. It's all part of that process of dumbing down because those in power don't want the masses to be mathematically literate, because then you can solve problems, get out of your troubles, you can solve and find a way out of the difficulties that you're in. And if we are mathematically astute, then we can't be duped, we can't be tricked by those in power that desire to trick us and deceive us. So there's this myth that mathematics has to be difficult. It's only for an elite few. And my goal, and I'm sure Professor Taylor's goal, was to destroy that myth. Anybody can learn math if it's taught to them correctly, if it's given to them properly, and if it's given to them in a manner that makes them understand where they are in the picture and how important mathematics is in real life. Most people are disconnected to math because they think it's just a bunch of numbers and letters that don't have no meaning, don't have no relevance. It's something I got to take to pass a class. So there is a disconnect then, and this new math that they call is a problem because it discombobulates and obfuscates the students, confuses them in terms of what the heck are you talking about? Because there's an old school way, which is a good way of teaching math. It just gets right to the point, right to the root, and it doesn't make it the mathematics as confusing as it is today. So I made it a mission of mine once I saw, how confusing some teachers can be, and a lot of teachers can be teaching mathematics from elementary all the way up to college. I said, no, I got to be a different teacher. I got to make this simple, got to break it down. And I believe that's what God blessed me with, a gift. Not that I'm supreme in math, but I'm able to break it down where people can understand it. People can see themselves in the picture and see themselves mastering mathematics, even if they had bad experiences in the past. Because I get that all the time. I had bad experience in the past. I hate math, can't stand math. My mother wasn't good at math. And I tell them, all you need is the right teacher. somebody to break it down, make it simple and plain. So one of my themes for my products is math made easy. Make it simple. And that's the way it needs to be. It's nothing that has to be so complicated, and only Einstein and a few like him can do it. It's just ridiculous.
Yes, and even breaking down, you know, I remember in grad school doing stats for the first time, and you have something now on your website for those, you know, who need statistic help. But can you talk about that? You touched upon it, the problems that you can solve when you learn math, and even, you know, the jobs that you can do, nursing and different, you know, medicine. Can you talk about the testimonials you've seen when people learn math and how it just opens up a whole new portal?
Oh, yes. I mean, if you are mathematically literate, all the doors of any profession are open to you, because you need mathematics for every profession. For law, even lawyers, they have to take those exams that are based on critical thinking. They're based on being able to deduce, problem solve. All that you need for every profession, there's mathematics required. You could name me a pilot, engineer, oceanographer, computer scientist. I mean, the list goes on. If you just hanging out on the street doing nothing, mathematics is going on, because you got mathematics all through your body from head to toe. This body is a perfectly mathematically run machine. So if you like music, there's no music that's made without mathematics. Whether it's hip hop, R&B, classical, all of it requires mathematics. Every sport requires mathematics to play it and become a master at it. From gymnastics to football to basketball, weightlifting. I mean, the list goes on. If you want to be a carpenter, any of the trades, you've got to be mathematically literate. If you want to cook, you can't cook without mathematics. You got to cook at the right time, cook at the right temperature. You got to know the right combination of spices, just how much, what is a pinch? All that is mathematics. So when you are mathematically sound, then you can solve problems, period. And we got problems. We got financial problems. We got problems with relationships. We got problems with our children. We got problems with our wives. We got problems with on our job that we have to deal with. So when you can think mathematically, then you have that problem solving framework that you can put, that template that you can put with any problem in your life. You got health challenges, it's a mathematical solution to it. You got financial problems, it's a mathematical solution to it. So when you are mathematically astute, doors of opportunity open up for you to be able to solve those problems, where people that are operating off emotion, which is like 85% of the planet, they're not able to solve their problems. So that's why they're drinking, that's why they're smoking, that's why they're doing all these things to get rid of that stress, to calm themselves from the drama and stress of not being able to solve problems, because they're not mathematically literate. They're not using mathematics, they're operating off of emotion. So that's the thing, one thing that can happen when you're mathematically sound. Doors of opportunity open, doors of solving problems open up when you're mathematically competent.
Man, it's necessary because so many people would be so many great things if they could even just passed it for a class. And sometimes I can't do medicine, or I can't do whatever it may be because I have to take a higher math. And, you know, they're intimidated. I've been corrected about the interview that we may have done. It was uploaded 13 years ago when YouTube used to let you upload WMV files. So that's how far back I've been a fan of the Math Doctor, y'all. It's and I just happen to have a 13-year-old now, but it was for another show. Y'all can go check that out. And give them the name of your YouTube one more time and make sure, you know, people tap into that.
Yeah, so the YouTube channel, they can find me, Shahid Muhammad, the Math Doctor. My website is themathdr.org, themathdr.org. I wasn't able to get the full Math Doctor spelled out. So it's themathdr.org.
Okay, and you guys, like I say, links will be below, and we'll make sure that you guys have that. Because are you doing content every week?
I was not every week, but pretty much every other week with the show. But when I just got overwhelmed with so many online classes and everything, I just wasn't able to continue the show. But we hope to get it started again this fall. But there's about, I think there's about 11 episodes there now for the people to watch. And then there's a whole bunch of other teaching videos that's there that they can get as well for them, parents, teachers, children, whatever.
Got you. Yeah, and it's needed. And with, you know, when we're talking about animation and this is the issue with animation, depending on where you go, folks will tell you, no, editing is $5 a minute. And you're like, okay. Before the sharks come and hit you up and say, I can do all of that for you. Have you looked at going to Upwork or Fiverr and trying to find some work, you know, maybe from overseas where whatever your budget is for this can be a little more, it'll be more accepted because Americans, you know, they want their $15 an hour now or their 20, depending on the city you live in. And I understand things aren't getting any cheaper, but a project like this is something that's going to live forever and impact so many people. It's almost like you need to look at it for the love of what have you done for the community. Come
on. You hit it right on the nail. That Fiverr is where one of my friends, matter of fact, Brother Abdul, the one you had on the program, he's the one that hit me up on Fiverr. So I got to actually sit down, go there, and then send out my request for animation and then see what I get back. But definitely that is number one on the plan for this animation project, is to hit Fiverr.
And you would think that, you know, whether it's local government or people hear your story, that it's really a math crisis to me, because again, dealing with youth for a decade or more in programs and creating programs, it's like people need this. And I think I told you, I have private links of your stuff for my kids and people who are really close to us who, oh, your child's struggling, you know, you don't need to put them in that remedial class, but they do need to watch this video every day until they get it, and they need to write it down, you know, and that's where we found there's been a lack of parenting, because if you can't have your child sit down for an hour and write something down every day, I don't know what type of parent you are, like, you know, and that's where the big issue is. But the parents say now they can't sit down, you know. So
everybody's ADD.
Everybody.
But, you hit it right on the nail. That we say in education that it's like a triangle. So if you got teacher, child, get that third piece is the parent, and that's one of the main pieces that's weak in that triangle of education to produce a powerful child, powerful student. That parent has to be there, but everybody's busy. Everybody's, you know, consumed with their own thing, and parenting is out the window now. We have given the children away to Satan's playground. You know, the TV, the cell phone, and none of it is really pushing anything mathematically towards our children. So we are suffering big time in the area of mathematics. It don't make no sense. We are the creators of mathematics, but in America, we at the bottom of mathematics. And that is by design. When we were brought over here as slaves, they say in the history that many of the slaves had better math skills than their slave masters. That's why they brought us over here to build. They knew that we were the superior ones in mathematics. But then after the 400-year process of dehumanizing us, they did not allow us to read, and they definitely did not want us to do math. So when you read the slave narratives, they say, one of the slaves says we were not allowed to figure, and figure is that was their way of saying do math, do mathematics. So we got to change this around. We got to see that it's a priority. And I just thank God that I'm blessed with the ability to make it plain. I get so many testimonials. I'm trying to get them up on TikTok and so forth. I'm asking people, you know, if you had those videos, DVDs, and they did wonders for your child, wonders for you, because sometimes it's adults that say, I couldn't pass my nursing exam without your DVDs. I wish I had you as a teacher. I teach college, and I always get responses at the end of the semester from students. Man, I wish I had you first before I had this other professor. Man, I used to hate math until I took your class. So it's been, my brother, a blessing And I'm just trying to transmit that blessing to as many people as possible. And the only problem is in this world, and particularly in America, is sport, play, and entertainment that gets all the play, and buffoonery and stupidity, and mathematics is kind of at the back and the back burner. So I'm not very popular in terms of people requesting the math DVDs. But then the problem is an epidemic of our people in particular not doing well in math. So it's like a catch-22. We need the mathematics, but because our minds are so pushed towards entertainment, sport, and play, we're not even thinking that we need to get our math skills locked down, especially for our children.
Yeah, real talk. And you know how he can prove that just one simple way when talking about in this country, when you see, and me now for the last 3 years, me and my children been citizens of Sierra Leone, and you know, me going to Africa, to various countries. Africans don't have that same issue. So when they come over here, they excel in school, and it's the same people, except one people got a certain type of schooling and got that math skill, and you had to do it or you couldn't. You were going to be driving a taxi cab, or you going to be frying banana on the street, plantain banana on the street. So when they put that math skill and even, you know, the writing skills too, when they come over here, they excel. And that's why at your job, that Nigerian surpassed you. It wasn't just, it was the PhD that he might have went, but it's so many, you know, things because of the schooling. And that's why school is necesito. To get ahead for the majority of people, because not everyone will be able to play a bowling, not everybody will be able to sing. But I love how you put that there. Do you do any one-on-one coaching, consulting with families or organizations?
Definitely. I do have online tutoring that I do remotely. Sometimes instead of a tutoring session, it becomes me teaching the student the full class, one-on-one. I do PDs for teachers, do PDs for parents, workshops for parents. And I speak sometimes when I'm invited, I speak to students, children, youth, trying to inspire them to get their math on. That's what we call it, get your math on workshop. So we come in, we do his whole motivational piece. I'm doing the beatbox to show them how mathematics is involved, the music. We got the PowerPoint going on, so they got the images and so forth. And I'm just trying to infuse them with this spirit to master mathematics, to know that mathematics is something you need to learn because they're not getting it in the school. They ask the teachers why we need to learn this crap, why we need to learn this math. And they'll say things like, well, I got mine, you get yours, or you need to learn how to count your money. You can't tell them that today in 2023. They're smarter than that, just so you can count your money. That's the only reason you need to learn math for. They'll pay an accountant to do that for them, right? Or they'll get a calculator to do that. So we have to. And as you mentioned, the brothers and sisters in Africa, man, please, when I teach in college, it is our brothers and sisters from the continent, from the motherland. They, as you said, they are the ones come over here. They got the discipline, they got the inspiration, the confidence in them, and they know that they can master mathematics. And we the same people, as you said. But what's the difference? It's difference in environment, difference in upbringing, difference in the curriculum. Over here in the States, our curriculum is based in white supremacy. They don't see any Black mathematicians. They don't see anybody looking like me that's a mathematician or math teacher, in particular, great mathematicians that are Black. I go around the country and when I do workshops for the teachers or the students, I'll say, name me 5 Black rappers, all the hands go up. Name me 5 Black sports stars, all the hands go up. Then I say, okay, here come a hard one. Name me 5 Black great mathematicians. And then they put their hand up. One of them might say, not Benjamin Banneker, what they might say, George Washington Carver or Martin Luther King. You know, just show you how far they are from knowing the great mathematicians, because they're not taught any. When you go to Google and type in great mathematician, they have 100 greatest mathematicians, and only like 2 or 3 of them are people of color, and not one of them is a Black man or a woman. You hardly see even women in there. So the white supremacy is all in the mathematics curriculum. And this is why we don't think this is something cut out for us. Not knowing that when they went to find the oldest remnants of mathematics, they did not go to Europe. They went to Africa, the motherland, and they found the Shango bone, which was like the second oldest mathematical remnant, the papyrus, the papyrus, what is that called? Lord have mercy. The Rhine papyrus, yes, where the archaeologist Rhine and his family, whatever, they found remnants of the blacks doing mathematics on this paper, which the Egyptians used, called papyrus, which we got paper from. So all the places where they found the oldest remnants of math is in the motherland. But yet when we go to America, the blacks are taught that white people are the supreme in mathematics. They even got the bold lie to say to the children that Pythagoras is the father of mathematics. Lord have mercy. So,
the lies are real. And and even the rest of the world, you can even go to Europe and they can say, America is too crazy for the white supremacy. You'll have Europeans say, y'all, that I couldn't live in that, and I'm white. I couldn't live in that. We don't do that here. But they can see that. That's clear as day. We see it, of course, and we live it. But then we have our own universities and we don't have to say names, but we have our own universities who they still aren't pushing it the way they need to be pushing it. Or a teacher like yourself, they can't keep you because they don't want to pay you what you're worth. I mean, you're invaluable. They can't afford you, but even the politics that we see more recruiting for the football team and the band so we can have cash money come here. I'm talking about what I saw. Even I went to the Harvard of the South and I met my wife at Grambling. So I never, I needed that experience, right? It was a beautiful thing. And some of my friends to this day are there's somebody, as long as they had a fee sheet. If you went to Grambling, you understand that. But our schools, because it's not just Grambling, what do we need to get right? What do we need to change? Because it's almost like the scriptures say, old versus young, where the young people got some ideas and we need to get some people out. Because I was told this recently. Well, you want to teach here, but you don't have a PhD. Do you know the things I've done in media? PhDs don't have time. They're too busy doing research. I done traveled to over 22 countries and put media plans together for folks. So what do we need to be doing at the college level at our universities that I pay alumni dues or a lifetime member of to get right? Because you're on that other side and you're probably one of the few people who will talk about how we can improve.
We need to get the white mind out of Black people. So we're using their same educational paradigm that the Caucasian, the European set up. We're using that, but now we're just doing it as Black people, and we're doing it to one another. It don't make no sense that a brother as valuable as you, as brilliant as you, you're gonna tell this brother that he can't teach because you have a PhD. So we divide and conquer just like the enemy does. So if I got a master's degree and I'm a great teacher, I can't teach because I don't have a PhD. But yet when they get their PhD, they don't get a higher degree in teaching. They don't learn how to teach better. They just learn how to research better and do a dissertation. That's the only thing separating me from somebody with a PhD is they did some research, right? And when they do the research, they're not really allowed to do their own thoughts. They got to mimic something that somebody else did and just copy, paste, and whatever. So we got to change the whole paradigm of education, and we got to put the knowledge of self in the curriculum from the higher education all the way down to preschool. The children got to know who they are as Black people and not give it to some madness that we get during February that we call Black History Month. No, we need to get to the root, right? Go back to motherland Africa. What was it called before it was called Africa? How long have we been on the planet? Do we know that we were here before there was any other race on the planet Earth? That's how long Black people been here. What were we doing back then? You see, those are the type of inspirational knowledge of self that we need to get into the curriculum. And we have to change their whole mindset of what are we going to school for? We're not going to school, or we should be going to school for money. We're not choosing a career for this makes more money than the other, right? So I can get bling bling, so I can get a nice suburban home, so I can get a nice car. No, that's not the purpose of education. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says education is the torchlight for civilization. So if we're not using that education to better self, to better our people, and then better humanity, then what are we getting? What are we in school for? So we have to change that whole paradigm in the institutions of so-called higher learning. As Black people, especially HBCUs, we have to change the curriculum. We should not be using the same curriculum that's full, poisoned, and intoxicated with white supremacy and expect it's going to make a big change in our people. No, we're just going to produce Black people with white minds, with nice degrees, and ain't doing a damn thing for their people. No, we need to change that whole paradigm.
Have you seen any universities getting it right? And I say that because you'll have people, Black people, and they'll say, well, you know, Princeton or Harvard has hired a Cornell West or Michael Eric Dyson or this and that. Do you see any universities that we can push for the 14-year-old listening now saying, you know what, this university is making an impact and they're getting it right? Do you know any in this country?
No, I don't know if any. All of them seem to be in that same paradigm where you pay the professor maybe $80,000, but the football coach is making $2 million. I mean, what kind of balance is that? What type of signal does that send to the children? Right? The football players are making this. Well, no matter of fact, in the college, they're not even making no money. But the coach is paid $2 million, where the teacher of the doggone students is only getting $80,000 at that. So I'm not sure of any. I mean, I'm sure there are some professors that are revolutionary, like you said, most likely the young ones that have a different mindset and that are doing different things that's affecting, you know, a small number of students. But until we get our own, brother, and I really mean our own schools, not controlled by somebody else with a Black face on it, then it's not going to change. We got to get our own.
And I can hear somebody say, well, you know, when we have our own, then we have to wait for the accreditation for it to be worth anything. But, you know, I tell people as a dual citizen now, and a couple months ago, we even went down to Mexico to get as a family to get residency because I don't see brighter days in America, at least for us. And I need to have options. But one thing I did learn when we were in Mexico City, that the biggest university there in the country, UNAM, 350,000 students. We asked two handfuls of students. They all said they paid zero tuition. Bilingual, some of them trilingual. We asked people outside. I went on the website. UNAM said if you pay tuition, it's $1,000 a year. I just paid my kids' school because unless they do nursing, I don't know a bachelor's degree that's worth the paper that it's on when you need a job.
Absolutely.
You know, nurses, we love y'all. We need y'all. But that's the only bachelor's that you can guarantee wherever you go in the city or state. I've seen my wife when she was a nurse. Now she's a physician. She can get a job like that everywhere she goes. And it's like, you know, as an entrepreneur, you look at it and say, wow, why don't you create a business underneath that? And that's where I come in as an entrepreneur. Why don't you create a business under that so you have, you know, all the options in the world? Can you? Yeah. Can you? Oh, no, go ahead. You want to say something?
That's another thing that has to be changed, is that mindset of going for money and going to get a job. No, if you dependent upon your career, and Minister Farrakhan teaches us this, if you're not going for a career like engineering or like medical, something that you have to have a degree in, then it's really a waste of money to spend all that money to get, as you said, a BS degree, which becomes just BS. When you could do your entrepreneurship, shoot, you can go on YouTube and find out how to run a business. YouTube is one of the best universities and it's free. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want to be a carpenter or a plumber, and they make it more than teachers now. They're making more than some engineers, depending upon what they're doing. So, you know, everybody doesn't have to go to college, because college in America is nothing but big business. And it's all about making money. The minister blessed us to go down to Cuba and learn, you know, from different ministries in Cuba, how they manage and take care of their people, service their people. And just like you said, in Mexico and Cuba, the education was free. They have almost a zero illiteracy rate, I mean, and the medical was free. And they were sent, when Castro was here, he was taking Black doctors, or I'm sorry, Black students from America over there to their medical program, 6 years, and they would get their medical degree and be bilingual. Now, all they had to do was come back over here and then go into the inner cities or go into blighted areas and do their service as a medical professional, and then take the test, of course. But that shows you, and it was free. But in America, please, you expect about $500,000 to $1 million when you finish your medical degree. It's just crazy. Yeah. So everything is money, everything is profit, and everything is to get the person to get in line with a resume and beg somebody for a job instead of teaching you how to make a job for yourself.
They know what they're doing, because we have a 2 million plus nursing shortage as well as a doctor shortage, but sick people is big money and big business. And in a country where we can spend, you know, hundreds of millions to one country to fight their enemy next door, that even the folks here won't even go fight. I have Ukrainian friends. They ain't running to Ukraine to go fight for their so-called people. Those aren't their people. They in America. So that, you guys, we could go a whole, that's the math doctor. He has a whole series of sermons that he could go, and I can't wait for you to just, you know, the math teaching is one thing, but even the podcasting where you just turn on even if it's your phone, you can do it now through Spotify/Anchor and just give that game, because wisdom seems to be at an all-time low. The same thing with consistency and loyalty.
That's what Public Enemy said. He said, ignorance is at an all-time high.
Ignorance at all-time high.
All-time high, boy.
All-time high. And, you know, and we have so many shows and things online where it would seem like everybody in this country is a multi-millionaire, a philanthropist. They can astro project, and they can teach you how to do it as well. And we have our entertainers and people at powers that be clapping and giving these people a platform, where someone like you needs to be on every show, but they'll say, but that doesn't get the views.
Yeah, don't get the views.
Where's his scandal? Who's he slapping? Who's he creeping out in them bushes that we see? Is he creeping out that door, bringing anybody in? We need some scandal, and that's the problem.
That's it. That's the dumbing down part. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad describes as 85% blind, deaf, and dumb, poison animal eaters, slaves to mental death and power. Just like sheep, zombies. And Nas has a song. I love Nas. He has a song called Black Zombies. He calls them walking, talking, dead, though you think you're living.
That I know it well because I'm a fan, but you even think about Nas's career. What was it? Till 7 years ago, folks thought Nas was broke, and then you find out he's in tech, you know, doing big things. Like they try to say, you know, well, Chameleonaire fell off. I said, I guess you don't know what he's doing now. You know, there are bigger heights, but it's good to know that there's people like you who are still pushing that message, and you're and whatever we can do. You've mentioned it because your whole career is giving back, but is there any give back that you're doing or that you would like to do in the future that we have not mentioned?
Well, definitely the math piece, but I'm writing a grant now, striving to get some money to do this vision that I had in my head called Funiversity. And Funiversity is a big building with different rooms, a game room, but there's puzzles and stuff like that. There's a music room, there's a science room, there's an engineering room, and the children just come in and let their imaginations go wild. and they go into the music room. They grab a guitar, they grab a violin. You know, they might not have any lessons, but they just experiment with it and then let their imagination run wild. They go into the engineering room. They got building blocks all over the place, connects and so forth, and they just experiment with building. So I call it Funiversity because it's learning while having fun at the same time. So that's something that's been in my head for the last 2 decades, and I'm trying to get it out there. You know, I've been praying to God if I could meet Jay-Z, meet somebody and just share that idea. Man, can you give me this amount to help me put this in motion? And I want to do it like in the inner cities where our children like are deprived, don't have any money to get to the science museum, because that's big money now. Don't have no money to get somewhere, you know, where they can use their imagination. They just stuck in the damn concrete jungle. No, I want them to come to Funiversity and be able to explore and let their imaginations run wild. And I think that'd be a good place.
Is the plan in your head, like the scriptures say? Is it written down, and have you made it plain?
Yes. So my daughter's helping me now. We got knowledge of this grant from the Illinois Department of Education, and we're going to put our prayers out that we get the grant so I can finally make it happen.
I'll tell you, working and doing a little bit of government contracting for the last plus decade, partnering with people who have, you know, been getting grants for 30 years sometimes makes it easier when you have an idea. I've had the NAACP locally in Seattle say, you know what, you can be a sub with us. And it's a lot easier not to compete when you have someone like the NAACP who's been doing it before you were born, or even locally. But I like that NAACP. I have, you know, other things to say about other chapters of the NAACP that haven't been so easy. But when we think about, we can go to almost any mall and go into any arcade in the mall nowadays, and people can put on their VR headsets and we can kill every zombie that there is, going back to the zombies. Why can't they put on that headset and do exactly what you just said and learn something and tap in? Because, and then you think of Atlanta, where they talk about, you know, the trap house. Somebody put a lot of money up for that. And here's something that you are talking about that can really give life, because we don't need a trap house. The kids have seen that. If you live that life, you ain't got to see that like that's something to see.
Please. Is that a museum to visit, the trap house?
That's a real museum. And you know, we're going, you know, there's some twerking going in the trap house, but this is why we can't have entertainers necessarily speak for what we need, because they only know, you know, we all need each other in this thing. But the trap house can get funded quick, and even some of our Black museums, they're not Black run, because, you know, when you reach out to them and want Black media to feature, they'll tell you, I don't know about that. This is Black media. Big Black media with millions and billions of views all together, and you're gonna say no to us? And you're a Black museum? When you needed that money, it was Black, Black, Black.
Oh yeah. But they're controlled. Somebody's pulling them strings behind them.
Yes. So I just wanted to give that game. Let anything I didn't touch upon, or, you know, any projects, again, things that we can help out, even if it's just sharing something, y'all. Everybody just sharing something can make your little contribution. You don't always have to have money. Sometimes your mouthpiece helps to spread the word. But give us the game while we wrap up, so they can go to your website and go see what else you have going on.
Definitely. And I know, my brother, your program is going worldwide. So if you have internet access and we would like some teaching for your children or for yourself as an adult, where the mathematics is broken down simple and plain, I do have online math courses. You can just email me at mathdr12@gmail.com, mathdr12@gmail.com, and we can sign you up. We're going to be starting September 6th for the new school year. We got a variety of different math classes. It won't be no white supremacy in there. It'll be culturally relevant. Your children will be fired up, motivated, inspired, and even you, if you're an adult needing to learn math, come on and join the class. It's open to everybody. And we have DVD download, direct downloads, as I said earlier, The website is themaathdr.org. Get these DVDs, as brother said, he had them for his children. They wonders. I got people all over the country, even some that said they took it in Africa and had their children doing well, and now they got PhDs and so forth because of watching those math DVDs of mine. So that's themaathdr.org. I look forward to seeing you all. And if you just want to find a good show for your children that makes them want to love math, go to my YouTube channel, Shahid Muhammad, the Math Doctor, and look for the show called Get Your Math On, because it's time for us to get our math on. Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you.
You are welcome. And I'm so happy that you got off that AOL. I can remember that. I said, oh, we got the Gmail. Cool, because you had an AOL account. So I'm glad, we got a generation that don't know what AOL is.
Right. Don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, but when they do download those lessons on your website, and they're nicely priced, because you guys spend more on your shoes and even some of y'all on food daily. Is that on an MP4, or how is that downloaded when they download it?
Yes, it's an MP4. So it comes right to their email, and then once they get the email, they can click it, and the video starts right up.
Okay, and I just wanted to make that clear, because sometimes people are so worried about the game being taken and them having credit certain you can just for in time, or knowledge is getting so good where you can track things, but really you guys, you're supporting. So when you get blessed by this, even if you did get it from a friend, like I tell people when I send the link, if you want the full game, you need to go to the website and download it, because you need this not just for you, for your grandkids and your kids' kids, because automation is here, but you still need to be able to think. So just make sure you support somehow.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you. And I thank y'all for the majority of you are listeners, but for those who want to kick up those YouTube or whatever, Facebook, other, places that this goes to, everybody make sure you're in this game. It will change somebody's life. Be blessed, y'all.
Are you tired of the rat race in America? Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stress the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand, or 10,000 Kenyan shillings, or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from Kellen Cash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.
Hi guys, I'm Kai Gabiam from the Diaspora channel, a lover of Africa. If you love Africa as well and you would love to visit one day or to relocate to Africa, there is a course out there for you. And this course is My First Trip to Africa, a course well put together by a seasoned traveler, Kellen Coleman. This course is designed to prepare you to travel better, which will save you both time and money. And the great news is this course costs only $20, guys. It can't get any better. Go right now and enroll to this course at www.diversifygame.com. Don't miss out.